Drama from another full fixture programme coming up as the East-West playoff races intensify. This week, Sporting KC going head-to-head with new Eastern Conference leaders New York City on a record-breaking winning run. Smarting from their defeat in the New York derby last week, the Red Bulls were looking to bounce straight back against Portland. And 3,000 miles across the continent, Seattle Sounders were at home to LA Galaxy. Never a game for the faint-hearted.
So where better to start than in Kansas, as Sporting KC welcomed the Eastern Conference leaders New York City FC to Children's Mercy Park. Unbeaten in 4, Sporting Kansas City are on a roll, last week breaking into the playoff places thanks to Matt Beasley's dramatic last-minute winner against Columbus Crew. Now for the form team of MLS.
For us, we understand it's a big match. You know, they're coming in as a team that's on fire right now, and we got to be ready for it.
Having recorded their first ever victory over big city rivals New York Red Bulls at the 5th time of asking last week, NYCFC then consolidated their position at the top of the standings with a win against New England. Englishman Frank Lampard in a rich vein of form, scoring his 3rd goal in 4 matches. Sporting KC had won the only previous meeting between these two sides last season by a 1-0. We join the action early in the first half.
Abdul Salam, decent ball in, under the head of Jacob Peterson. Picked up by Madranda. Dealt with again by New York City FC, and Sporting Kansas City will take full advantage of the footballing gift presented to them. They are sharp, they are cutting edge, and they snatch the lead in Kansas City.
Well, I think this takes a real wicked deflection. It comes back, just pops up, and Josh Saunders can't get there, and it's an easy tap-in for Fair Harbour.
Lampard with a lovely ball over to Harrison on the far side. What can New York City offer here? Harrison! It's a very good save in the end.
Perhaps Jack Harrison should have got his head up once he's been played in. Perhaps the ball needs to be cut back. It's a difficult angle, but, you know, he's a young lad and he decided to go for goal.
Sporting get a taste of their own medicine here as Villa plays it over to Pirlo on the left-hand side. Pirlo, ball across, and just like that, New York City FC are back in business. Frank Lampard and Vieira's boys are back on level terms. To the near post, disappointing delivery. Ball driven towards goal. Well. Something out of completely nothing. And Sporting Kansas City retake the lead straight away.
Well, this has got to go down as a goalkeeping mistake. The shot just dips in front of Josh Saunders. He gets it completely wrong. I felt sorry for Josh Saunders on the first goal, but this one's completely down to him.
Here's Espinoza on that favoured left foot. Drives it towards goal. He required a save of a certain calibre from Josh Saunders.
It's nice to get a save in and try and get a bit of confidence back after the howler of the 2nd goal.
Ball flicked on by Rubio. Here's Opara. David Villa, of all people, repelling for New York City. Feilhaber's ball in. It's a big opportunity, and in the end it is turned in. It's Ike Opara.
She's pushed back into the penalty area and squirms his way through to Opara, who manages to do ever so well. He rides the challenge and just gets his toe to it, and it's 3-1.
Hallacy skipping away from Allen. Perhaps one more chance here for Sporting. Delivery's not bad. Here's Rubio, and still Rubio! And still no home goal for him. Full time, Sporting KC 3, New York City 1.
When you're on the front foot, when you put the work in and you outwork another team, you start to break them in different ways, and it's not just physically, it's also mentally. And I think when you look at the game, we gained confidence as the game went on just because we were closing everything off.
2 straight defeats had seen Philadelphia lose top spot in the East, so a return to form against DC United was imperative. Chris Pontius was clearly keen to impress against his former club. He won the spot kick that gave his current employers the breakthrough. Kofi Apari committing the offence, which left Roland Olberg licking his lips at the prospect of extending his recent scoring streak. The Dutchman putting away his 6th goal in his last 5 league matches. But his teammate Ilsinho is the name on everyone's lips just now. The Brazilian has become a big hit with the home fans, who, despite witnessing his silky skills, had yet to see him score. That soon changed when Marcelo Sarvis sent him flying. Bill Hamid beaten from the spot for a 2nd time as Ilsinho opened his MLS account. And Hamid was powerless to prevent the Union from stretching their lead early in the 2nd half. Ilsinho crashing in the 3rd after CJ Sapong's clever knockdown. Smiles all round after a performance that head coach Jim Curtin described as their best of the season so far. For United, it's back to the drawing board after seeing their 3-match unbeaten run come to an end. Made worse as Apari wiped out Pontius for a 2nd time. The defender dismissed with just under half an hour to go. Substitute Luciano Acosta did his best to give the travelling fans something to cheer about, but Andre Blake's save underlined why he's just been picked for the MLS All-Star team.
Third in the West, hosted 3rd in the East at Rio Tinto Stadium, and the visitors struck first. Laurent Simon's 8th-minute free kick too hot for Nick Rimando, and Harry Shipp steamed in his 1st goal for the Impact. Real Salt Lake were almost sunk without trace before half-time as Montreal made light of Didier Drogba's absence. But Rimando redeemed himself to deny Ignacio Piatti, and Mauro Biello's side would live to rue that miss. But not until the final 15 minutes, when Damar Phillips' persistence created an opportunity for Joao Plata, which was thwarted illegally by Callum Mallis. Referee Ricardo Salazar could hardly have been better placed or more decisive. And Real Salt Lake had a way back into a game they'd largely dominated since falling behind. Youromov Sisian was in no mood to waste the chance. The Armenians' 4th goal in 5 league games. A draw was probably about right, but the home side finished the stronger, and skipper Kyle Beckerman almost made up for that slow start. Evan Bush extending the Impact's unbeaten league run to 4 matches.
To another fiercely contested marquee matchup now, as last season's Supporters' Shield winners New York Red Bulls welcomed MLS champions Portland to New Jersey. Jesse Marsh's side starting the day down in 4th in the Eastern Conference and looking to get back on track against the Timbers after last week's derby defeat.
It's a very good team. I have a lot of obviously they won the championship last year, but their attacking core of players can unbalance you in a lot of different ways.
Portland, meanwhile, arrived on a run of 6 unbeaten. The Timbers sharing the points at Western Conference title contenders Colorado last week. Jake Gleason with an outstanding performance in goal. Portland unlucky not to come away with a win. Tim Howard's goal leading a charmed life on his debut for the Rapids.
So the mood's good, it's upbeat, 6 games unbeaten, and we've been averaging, good points over the last 6 games. So we need to just, keep that up.
The Red Bulls went into this one having lost just once in the last 5 meetings with Portland. We joined the action in the 10th minute.
Red Bulls caught out there at the far post, and the shot dealt with by Robles. First bit of work for the New York Red Bulls goalkeeper to do this evening, and he's leading the inquest as to why there was so much room there for Milano.
And Milano strikes it the outside of his boot, and Robles one-handed save.
It's Felipe, and Gleason was called into action, took a nick on the way through.
Well, Gleason makes a comfortable save for a good area for a keeper.
Milano tried to pick out Addy. This is Grabavoy, will pick up the pieces for Portland Timbers. And the effort strikes the woodwork from Zemansky. The closest yet.
Well, Robles absolutely nowhere near this, as you can see. It's all Red Bulls now. They're coming from all positions.
Here they come again on the Portland Timbers doorstep. Bradley Wright Phillips, and just wouldn't drop for him. Borchers made sure of that. Grella, he's managed to smuggle the ball through, and Gleeson makes the save. And that's the biggest save of the game so far.
Yeah, golden opportunity. Keeper does really well there, Gleeson.
We are heading towards 2 additional minutes. Bradley Wright Phillips trying to trick his way through, and Gleeson with the stop. Well, he just about did enough. Felipe's efforts, and Gleeson just about managed to turn the ball over the top. Nothing to choose between the two. It's finished at the Red Bull Arena. New York Red Bulls 0, Portland Timbers 0.
As you reach this stage of the season, it's important that you buckle down and defend well, because games get tighter and oftentimes it's one goal that unlocks it. We weren't able to find that goal, but neither were they. And if you can't find the goal on the road, you buckle down and you get the point.
Much of the drama between Vancouver and Colorado arrived late, but the early exchanges weren't bad either. Christian Bolaños' ball glanced on its way by Kendall Waston, and Vancouver led inside 10 minutes. Tim Howard beaten for the first time since his MLS return. The perfect start for the Whitecaps after last week's defeat by LA Galaxy, but they were pegged back just before the hour. Shkelchen Gushi with the final assist to Kevin Doyle's 4th goal of the season. 10 minutes of relative calm followed before the moment that seemed to tip things the Whitecaps' way. Rapids defender Eric Miller not quick enough in the tackle on Pedro Morales. Referee Alan Chapman in a rush to dispense the first red card of Miller's MLS career. And now Vancouver had 20 minutes against 10 men to secure a first home win in 2 months. Unfortunately for them, one of the 10 was Howard, who's already added some steel to these resilient Rapids. His point-blank save to deny Bolaños was the best of several stops, and time was running out when the home side did find a way past him. They needed a helping hand to do it, and the one placed on Christian Techera's shoulder by defender Jared Watts did the trick. Mr. Chapman quick and decisive once again, and with Morales off the field, Techera did the spot shot honours himself. His first goal of the season, but not the last of the game. Colorado hadn't lost since April the 9th, and they still haven't. Inside the last minute of added time, Doyle picked out Axel Schuberg to make it 13 games unbeaten and properly spoil the evening of Whitecaps coach Carl Robinson.
An emotional night at the Avaya as players of both clubs came together as a show of solidarity in the wake of recent events in Dallas. San Jose was 6 games without a win and were grateful to the post as Maxi Urruti almost put the Western Conference leaders in front. The woodwork at the other end was also a source of frustration for the home team. On a ball, Godoy left cursing his luck as Dominic Kinnear's men tried to snatch the opening goal, which he felt would be crucial to the final outcome. Had it not been for Dallas keeper Chris Seitz, the Quakes would have gone to the break on top. The big man displaying lightning-quick reflexes to keep Shea Salinas off the score sheet. Having narrowly missed out on the Supporters' Shield last year, Dallas continued to make their case for another strong challenge this time round. Urruti's magnificent bicycle kick early in the second half put them on course for a 3rd win on the bounce. San Jose will be glad to see the back of him. The Argentine was a constant menace throughout, as yet again the post denied him the chance to increase his tally. Yet he still had the presence of mind to find Michael Barrios. His miss, though, mattered little, as the Quakes crashed to a first home defeat of the season.
Coming up, Kai Kamara meets his former club for the first time as New England Revolution welcome Columbus Crew to Foxborough. Action for the Western Seaboard now as 2 MLS heavyweights Seattle and LA Galaxy met at an electrified CenturyLink Field. Always an occasion to look forward to. This time out it featured 2 clubs struggling for form. Seattle now 7 points adrift of the playoffs after a dismal run of just 1 win in 7. Last week Jordan Morris earned them a crucial point at Toronto thanks to the 6th goal of his rookie season.
Hopefully we can turn this season around. You know, it hasn't been what we expected, and hopefully, we satisfy the fans and everybody that's there.
Returning from Euro 2016 duty with the Republic of Ireland, Robbie Keane set the Galaxy on their way to their first win in 8 last week. Bruce Arena's side playing the last 16 minutes with 10 men, after Nigel de Jong was dismissed for a reckless tackle on the Whitecaps' Blas Perez. Seattle got the better of their West Coast rivals in their last meeting. We join the action in the 15th minute.
Patient build-up here from the Galaxy. Here is Zardis, is clear of his marker, and Keane's free in the middle. It's Robbie Keane! It's 2-2 for Robbie Keane. What an impact he's had since coming back into the team. And he simply loves playing against Seattle. This is 7th goal in 10 games against them. The Galaxy lead 1-0. Marshall. Oh, he's shown way too much of that to Dos Santos, and Keane's in again. Surely he's got to get a second. Well, he's furious that he's not got a penalty. He is adamant there was a push in the back from Eric Freeberg here. Either way, Robbie Keane takes far too long over it. A good chance has gone. Mears. Morris making a run through the middle. He might just get to this. He's got away from Rowe as well, and De La Garza. What a block that was. That had goal written all over it. And De La Garza keeps Seattle off the score sheet. It really should be 1-1. Here's Jones. 3 to aim for in the centre. Dempsey is one of them. Terrific stop from Rowe. Seattle continue to bang on the door. It just will not go in. Freeberg. Now Dempsey. Mears shifting out wide for him. 5 in the box in total here. Morris climbing for it. Dempsey is in! This time the post denies him. You ever get the feeling it's just one of those days? Time running out for the Sounders. There's no end in sight to their struggles just now. This is Mears feeding Anderson. He's got Romney for company, and Anderson gets clear of him and goes down. Well, the referee says no penalty. Well, the crowd are livid. They cannot believe that's not being given. And it compounds the misery for Seattle. No penalty. And it finishes 1-0 to the Galaxy.
Columbus Crew's visit to New England meant their first encounter with Kai Kamara since they traded him to the Revolution 2 months ago. He made his presence felt, but not immediately. The first impact made by his captain. Lee Wynn has now scored in each of his last 5 matches against Columbus. That was just 3 minutes in, and from then on, New England's 3-match losing streak was rarely in danger of getting worse. Wynn and Kamara combined impressively just past the half hour, but the decisive touch came from Columbus midfielder Will Trapp. But before half-time, the Crew were back in the game, thanks to the other Kamara. From Tony Sharney's clever pass, Kai's unrelated replacement Ola made it 8 goals in as many games, although keeper Brad Knighton should have denied him this time. Kai's tally of 2 goals in the same period looked rather to see, so was his lack of luck. Teal Bunbury created the opportunity, Kamara denied by Michael Parkhurst twice, and the crossbar once. But the goal Kamara craved did finally arrive in rather farcical circumstances. After 2 Columbus defenders tackled each other, the striker couldn't miss, and the Revolution were heading into the playoff places. His namesake will be wondering how his goal streak has only delivered 1 victory in those 8 games. Trapp did his best to prove that Columbus aren't a one-man team late on, but after 5 matches without a win, the Crew look unlikely to extend Ola Kamara's season beyond October.
Toronto FC's young guns have helped them back into playoff contention, but youth made way for experience as they went ahead against Chicago Fire. Jordan Hamilton stepping aside to let Justin Morrow apply the finishing touch after Sebastian Javinko's inch-perfect through ball. TFC outshot their opponents by 10-1 in the first half. Sean Johnson's punch was far from convincing. Thankfully for him, Jonathan Campbell's positioning was spot on to stop Tsubasa Endo from getting on the score sheet. Chicago's wretched away form has become a millstone round their necks. It's now 2 years since their last win on the road, although a terrific strike from Kennedy, Igbo and Anike was the best that they could muster in an otherwise toothless attacking display. But their hosts still had plenty left in the tank. Giovinco's near-post free kick had Johnson worried, but the post came to his rescue, which meant more frustration for TFC's Italian striker, who's desperate to get back amongst the goals. The reigning MVP hasn't scored now in his last 7 matches, but not for the want of trying. He had 13 of his side's 23 shots, but he still couldn't find the net. No wonder he's getting all hot under the collar.
For the visit of Houston, Bobby Murphy moved into the Orlando hot seat vacated by Adrian Heath's shock departure just 2 days before. The Lions' interim head coach had called for a performance to lift the gloom. He didn't entirely get it, although keeper Joe Bendick was bright enough to deny Alex in the first half. From then on, Murphy's men dominated possession but created little of note with it. Just one shot on target, in fact. Kevin Molino's moment of inspiration, more than matched by Tyler Derrick in the Dynamo's goal. Last week's 4-0 drubbing at FC Dallas had hastened the end of Heath's 8 years in charge. So a first league clean sheet since March and their first at home for 11 months might have been Murphy's biggest wish. Giles Barnes nearly spoiled that with barely a minute left, but in this battle of the interim head coaches, Houston's Wade Barrett was probably the happier.
So to recap, NYCFC crashed to just their 3rd away defeat in 9 games, and Philadelphia are breathing down their necks at the top of the East after bouncing back from successive defeats. FC Dallas cemented their place at the top of the West with victory at San Jose, whilst Houston's goalless draw in Orlando means they're no longer propping up the rest.
In the West, FC Dallas's win at San Jose has extended their lead at the top to 3 points, although Colorado do have 2 games in hand. LA Galaxy have closed the gap on Real Salt Lake in 3rd, and it's very tight in the race for the remaining playoff spots. Houston's draw at Orlando means that Seattle are now bottom of the standings.
There's now just a point between the top 2 in the East as Philadelphia capitalised on NYCFC's defeat at Sporting KC. New England Revolution are into the playoff places after their win over Columbus, a result that leaves them 6 points below the red line. While Chicago Fire's miserable run away from home continues, they stay rooted to the bottom.
There are 6 midweek games, but these are the fixtures for next weekend. Top meets bottom in the Supporters' Shield standings as FC Dallas hosts Chicago Fire. There's a Cascadia Cup clash between Portland and Seattle, and the top 4 in the Eastern Conference meet. It's Montreal against NYCFC, and the Red Bulls visit Philadelphia.
So that's it for another week as NYCFC's record-breaking run comes to an end in the East. In the clash of the Camaras, it's Kai who's all smiles as New England see off his old club, Columbus Crew. Whilst over in the West, FC Dallas extend their lead at the top. Remember, for all the latest news, visit the website MLSsoccer.com. But from Tom Skippings and me, Paul Walker, it's goodbye.